So I hear that you guys like beast mode performing fragrances. Well, since I launched the video called Top 20 Beast Mode Sillage Fragrances a month or so ago, I thought I'd put together a video called Beast Mode Longevity. So in today's video, I'm going to talk to you about 20 plus fragrances that have Beast Mode Longevity. So if you're curious to find out what they are, please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian with Smelling Great Fragrance Reviews. If this is your first time landing on my channel and you love watching fragrance reviews, finding out about new fragrances and brands, participating in giveaways, and still have not subscribed to my channel, please click the subscribe button below and also click the bell so you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. So yeah, a month or so ago I launched a video called Beast Mode Sillage. So what are the differences between longevity, sillage, and projection? I think it goes hand in hand. Sometimes fragrances that are really beast mode will have beast mode sillage, which is the trail that you leave behind if you spray the fragrance and you're walking away, or even when you're standing, it's that big cloud. That's basically sillage. Projection is how far the fragrance projects off of you as you're standing or you've sprayed. People can smell you like it's projecting off of you. I love it when fragrances project or leave a cloud or trail, the sillage, because it shows that this fragrance has strength. It's beast mode. And then of course we also have performance, longevity. So performance is all three for me, but longevity can come without sillage and also projection, because sometimes fragrances are close to the skin and they don't project or have that cloud, the sillage, as much. So these fragrances, even though a lot of them do project and do have beast mode sillage, the most important thing for me in this video was the performance, as long as they last long and you've got hours of longevity. That's basically the idea behind this video. And since I hear a lot about you guys speaking about how you like fragrances to perform, otherwise it's not worth paying the money. For me, I have the luxury of having so many fragrances that it doesn't matter for me as much now, but it does matter for me. I work from home, and in the house it doesn't, but when I'm traveling or I'm out and about, I want that fragrance to last. I want it to stay. I don't want to carry bottles around. I don't want to decant fragrances and carry decants around, even though I do it sometimes. So I want my fragrance to stay on, linger on. So it's important, and then it's not important, if that makes sense. So this video is not in any specific order. I'm just going to tell you 20 fragrances that have excellent performance, excellent longevity, and if they have excellent projection and sillage as well, I'll mention it, but if they don't, I'll just say this one lasts a long time. So the very first one is a fragrance I just reviewed yesterday from a house called Parfums de Nicolas, Nicolas Parfumeur Creator. This is Patchouli Intense, this one right here. So this one, I want to start off by saying has excellent longevity. Like, it performs great as far as the longevity goes, but for me, the projection and sillage are moderate. It's not beast mode. But if you want an awesome green style, earthy, woody, aromatic, oriental patchouli that's nothing like any other patchouli fragrances, and also has legs, that has major longevity, stays on you, you wake up the next day smelling the fragrance, then this is one to try. This is Patchouli Intense, and I wanted to feature it because I've been testing this one to review the fragrance yesterday. As you know, I launched that video, but man, it has great performance. Even though it's not beast mode, projection, and sillage, longevity is awesome with this one. This is actually pretty much the only freshie in this video. So it is from the house of Nichane, and this is Hachivat, this one right here. Now a lot of people compare this to Aventus, of course, because of the pineapple, but this has more than that. It has citruses and things like that. But this one actually, once or twice I wore to dinners that are very fancy dinners, and I had sprayed a bit too much, and it was projecting so much and leaving the trail so much that I was kind of embarrassed, because this was like a very close restaurant, like you sit close to other people, and I was getting nervous that my fragrance was so big. Now, I didn't feature it in the sillage video because there are other fragrances with more sillage, but this performance and then the longevity with this one is out of this world. So it is a pricier fragrance. It is over $200, but you get what you pay for. Just spray a little bit and the fragrance lasts all day. Plus it's very classy, It's masculine and it's woody, citruses and fruits. Beautiful. So this is Nishane Hachivat. If you don't know it, check it out. Make sure you watch my review. Next up, we're going to the house of Maison Francis Kurkdjian, and this is Oud Silk Mood, this one right here. Now, I personally do not own Oud Satin Mood because I know that's beast mode, but hopefully soon I'll pick it up, along with Baccarat Rouge, because I'm slowly starting to turn around with that fragrance. But this one is definitely major longevity. Projection and sillage are moderate, over moderate, but not beast mode, but longevity is out of this world. It lasts a long time. You wake up the next day smelling the stuff on you, and it is caked on and stayed on. I think Oud Satin Mood is a little better performing than this one, but this is still really close behind it. So if you like a really beast mode longevity for a rose and oud combo, this is definitely one to check out. So this is Maison Francis Kurkdjian, and it's Oud Silk Mood. Speaking of rose and oud combo, this is from the house of Montal. This is Black Oud, this one right here. Another long lasting, but this one actually has the patchouli that I love, whereas this one has papyrus with that rose and oud combo, so it's a little different. But this one, man, it's so sexy. The patchouli adds an extra sexy layer, and it is long lasting. Fragrance lasts a long time. But you also have great sillage with this one. I believe I featured it in my sillage video, and it projects like crazy. So this is Montal, after all, the only Montal fragrance I have in this video, but this is probably one of my favorites, along with Intense Cafe, which is not on this list. But man, this is beast mode longevity, so check out Black Oud. Another beast mode longevity fragrance, which also has a major scent trail, the sillage, which I also featured in the sillage video. This is Etat Libre d'Orange Rien Intense Incense, this one right here. Man, this one is beast mode, animalic, leather, aldehydic fragrance. Extra long longevity, and you only need a few sprays, but along with that trail, you also get that projection, and of course the longevity comes with it. So if you like an animalic fragrance, I know it's animalic leather, but you also have this like very clean aldehyde in here. The aldehydic note is pretty dominant, so you have animalic touches, a little dirty touch there with that clean aldehydes, very clean and airy. It's a kind of like a weird mix or blend, but I love that about it. It's just unique that way. This is probably one of the best fragrances from this house, Rien Intense Incense. Check it out for excellent longevity. Now we're going to a house called Paris Monte Carlo with a fragrance of theirs called Bois de Oud, this one right here. And this one is a very woody, ambery oud fragrance with major longevity. Now this one, actually, the projection and the sillage are moderate, maybe a little above moderate, like above average, but man, longevity goes all day. And the fragrance sprays on very sticky, it's oily, it's thick and rich and dense. If you like oud, if you like ambery touches, musky touches, almost maybe even tobacco touches in here with lots of woody notes, then definitely try Bois de Oud from Paris Monte Carlo. This one I've spoken a lot about recently. This is from the house of Maître Parfumé et Gantier. This is Ambre Pissot, this one right here. Probably, according to a lot of amber lovers, this is the best amber ever made. It is a historic amber dating back to the late 80s, and it's still awesome as ever, but this one, it has major longevity, long-lasting fragrance, big projection. Everything from this house has a big cloud, and then of course the sillage. You leave this trail. It's people smell you coming down the street. So awesome fragrance right here. Check it out, Maître Parfumé et Gantier. I do have a review of this, and we did a giveaway, a full bottle giveaway of this one, and one of my subscribers won, and she's very happy. So this is Maître Parfumé et Gantier Ambre Pissot, Precious Amber. Now this one I've been talking a lot about lately, and I'm in head over heels for this one. It's from the house of Frederic Malle. This is Promise. I think it's called Wa'ad in Arabic, or pronounced Wa'ad, whatever you see right here on the label. I don't know Arabic myself. I know a little bit, so I think that's how you say it. Those of you that are Arab speaking, please let me know if that's correct. Even though I come from an Arab speaking country, I'm Armenian, so I didn't really learn Arabic too much. I speak Armenian fluently. But this one, man, amazing, boozy, beast mode, woody fragrance. Extra longevity with this one. big fragrance. I mean, a lot of Frederic Malle fragrances are really big, and this is one that doesn't disappoint with that. They have a lot. I had to choose one or two. I have two in this list. This is one of them, but a lot of their fragrances are major, long-lasting fragrances. And this one also has an amazing scent trail, boozy, woody scent trail, where I think I was mentioning in my most worn fragrances video recently that this one has this like smell of aging barrels where the liqueur or alcohol or you know, the booze is aged. It really leaves that kind of a scent trail. You can smell that like aged woody smell along with the apples and roses in here. It's a very, very beautiful scent. I love it, and you should definitely check it out. And if you like long-lasting fragrances with big you know, sillage and projection, this is definitely one to try. This is Promise from Frederic Malle. Now here we've got something that's moderately projecting and moderate sillage but major longevity. This is from the house of Roger Parfums, and this is Musc Oud, this one right here. This is also very, very sexy, leathery, slightly animalic musk that lasts. It is, as I said, not so beast on the projection and sillage, but you do have a cloud here. A lot of the fragrances from Roger Parfums do have clouds, big clouds, but they don't last as long as a lot of other fragrances, and they don't like project too much, too wide. I mean, like too far. But longevity wise, this is awesome. You only need a few sprays and you have the fragrance on for a long time. But you also have to pay an arm and a leg for the fragrances because they are very, very long lasting, very, very luxury niche fragrances. So if you like a sexy musky fragrance that's long lasting, definitely check out Musc Oud. A fragrance from the house of Jovoy called a private label, this one right here. A fragrance from this house that's all about vetiver, and then also woody notes. There's also that papyrus note in here. And you know, a lot of the fragrances that I really love from this have this like boozy undertone. Even though boozy notes are not listed here, it does smell like tobacco, it does smell like cigars, and nothing like their recent fragrance Pavillon Rouge. This doesn't go in a gourmand territory, just has a very boozy, savory boozy quality to it with like tobacco. It's vetiver, it's woody notes, it's that papyrus, and it almost smells like an old men's club with old books and old interior, and then you're smelling some booze in there, if that makes it whiskey. Check it out, private label. It's an amazing fragrance from Jovoy. Very, very long lasting, big projection, major sillage as well. And speaking of boozy Jovoy fragrances, this one also is not one of those gourmand boozy fragrances, but this one is has boozy touches to me, even though they're not credited. This is Psychedelic, one of the best patchouli fragrances ever from any brand. It's boozy, but it's like boozy notes are like really light. They're like undertones, like they come off a bit boozy, even though what's really dominating here is that patchouli, very, very earthy, woody patchouli, which also has a chocolatey touch to it. Like you're smelling like little like cacao nibs or flakes of chocolate. It's just that kind of a patchouli. So even though I don't find patchouli to be delicious, this one smells really delicious because it has those chocolatey and slight boozy touches to it. Really, really awesome patchouli. We have two patchouli fragrances that are pretty dominant patchouli fragrances here. This is Patchouli Intense from Nicolai, Perfumer Creator, Parfums de Nicolai, and this is a Psychedelic from Jovoy, and they're completely night and day different patchoulis. But if you want long-lasting patchouli, major long-lasting, big cloud, big projection, major sillage, this is definitely one to try here. Another fragrance we want to talk about is from the house of Tiziana Terenzi, and this is Laudanum Nero, this one right here. Ashy, smoky, woody fragrance that's out of this world amazing, and it has major longevity, like it's beast mode longevity. But I find the projection with this one above average, not beast mode as much, and also the sillage also. It doesn't leave that big of a cloud compared to some of these other fragrances I was telling you about. But as far as longevity goes, this one is out of this world. Like you'll smell this fragrance overnight on you. There's another fragrance that's on this list that's very similar to it. In fact, I have a comparison video with my frequent guest Ashley of these two, and I wanted to feature this one in this video as well, because even though they are similar, they're also not similar. You should check out the video with Ashley to find out which one is our favorite. But I wanted to include Black Afghano as well, even though I want to mention about this one, when I first bought it, I became very anosmic to it. And I always thought that, God, this fragrance doesn't last a long time, because it's a lot of people complain that it's so beast mode and so long lasting. But for me, it doesn't happen anymore. I think they've diluted it. You still have a major longevity with it, but now I can smell it on me, rather than when I first got it back in 2013. It was so potent that I became anosmic to it, and I can smell it on me, and people would be like going away from me because it was so strong. But still, it has great longevity, and I think again with the projection and the sillage, it's above average, above moderate performing projection and sillage. But man, longevity is really good with this one. Two different but two similar fragrances: Black Afghano from Nasomatto and La de Nero from Tiziana Terenzi. Now, a fragrance I wanted to talk to you about next from the house of Parfums de Marly is a fragrance that's not really much spoken about, but this is Kuhuyan from Parfums de Marly, and it's a very woody, slightly animalic leather fragrance. Nothing like Godolphin. If you're familiar with Godolphin, this is not anything like Godolphin, but really beast mode, like intense, major longevity. You don't need a lot of sprays with this one, and of course really big projection and sillage with this one. Although I find it to be, again, not overwhelmingly big with the sillage and the projection, but still it's definitely more than the last two fragrances I spoke to you about. So Kuhuyan is very underrated beast mode Parfums de Marly fragrance. Nothing like Godolphin, as I said, but it is a leather fragrance. So check this one out. And speaking of Parfums de Marly, we have Carlisle again here. This one's a big fragrance. I believe I featured this in my beast mode sillage video, but major longevity with this one, major beast mode longevity, so I had to feature it here on this video as well. And this is a house I really love. I want something a little more original next, because we had Percival recently. Even though it's a great fragrance, I felt like it was a bit underwhelming. I want something like this, but in a different direction, maybe an amber direction, because I don't think they have an amber fragrance, and I love me some ambers. So hopefully we can get that, but in the meantime, this right here, beast mode all the way. Carlisle can't be beat. I'm glad it's part of their regular collection now. It's awesome. Back to Frederic Malle, and again, this is Portrait of a Lady, one of my longest lasting, one of my favorite masterpiece fragrances. This I consider definitely a masterpiece because it freaking lasts a long time. It also has great sillage and great beast mode projection, which I featured this on the sillage video. So if you like roses and patchouli and incense and spices and some fruity notes of raspberry, classic fragrance, it can't be beat. This is Portrait of a Lady. Amazing stuff. So check that out as well. We're going to the house of Papillon Perfumery. This is Anubis. Now, I don't speak about this house much, and I have two fragrances that I really love from them: Tobacco Rose and Anubis. And Anubis, Tobacco Rose is nice. I love it. It smells great. And it's a very good fragrance, easy to wear if you like tobacco and rose. But this one is a more difficult fragrance, animalic, very smoky, charred, burned leather. Major longevity with this one. It lasts a really long time, and it's animalic, so you gotta love that. The only issue with this one is it doesn't project as much, and also the sillage, the cloud, is not so big. So I wanted to feature it because of its performance and its out-of-this-world performance. And it is animalic leather, so you gotta like that. But the animalic stuff is, and the leather part of it is, it smells burned. It's burnt and buttery and very smoky. So check it out, Anubis from Papillon Perfumery. Going to the house of Francesca Bianchi, this is the dark side, and this one also is a very woody, beautiful oriental fragrance. Beast mode performance. But for me, the longevity is what's the beast mode about it. The projection and the sillage are not so big, but if you want a long-lasting woody oriental vanillic a resinous and also a little bit powdery fragrance, the dark side is one that can't be beat. So you only need a few sprays of these, because these are they're in small bottles, and I think there's a reason behind that, because they perform so beast mode, so long lasting, big time. But as I said, the projection and sillage are moderate, if that. They don't project much. It doesn't project much on me. It also doesn't have that cloud. but man, it lasts a long time. You'll wake up the next day smelling like the dark side, as if you were wearing it the day before. Well, not so strong, but you can still smell it, if that makes sense. So this is Francesca Bianchi's The Dark Side. Another one from a small Italian house, well actually Swiss. This is San Marco's Vitrum, this one right here. Vitrum I recently reviewed on the channel, and I think this is one of the most beast mode vetiver fragrances that I've put my nose on. It's really intense, like major intense, but it's very, very earthy, woody, slightly animalic leaning vetiver fragrance. So a little goes a long way. And once again, we have moderate projection here and moderate sillage, but longevity is out of this world. It lasts a long time. I mean, the projection and sillage do come off a bit, but then it becomes more closer to the skin. No projection and no sillage, but man, if you want a long-lasting vetiver, this is definitely one that can't be beat. So if you don't know this house, San Marco, check out some of the videos on this channel about them. This one I've spoken a lot about. This is Cocaine from Frank Boclet. I guess I haven't really spoken too much about, but I featured it in the Beast Mode Sillage video, and now I also spoke about it in my most warm fragrances. But man, this is a big beast mode fragrance. A little goes a long way with this one, and major longevity. It has great sillage and major projection as well. The cloud is big, so you gotta go easy on the trigger with this one. It's all about tuberose, but a very dusty, dry tuberose, and very masculine leaning. So if you are a guy and you want to explore tuberose fragrances, but you think they are feminine leaning, Cocaine is the one to try. So check it out. It's from Frank Boclet, a fashion house out of France, and this is Cocaine. I know I'm going more than 20 on this video, but this one is from the house of Mancera. It's Red Tobacco, beast mode performance, really long lasting tobacco and resins, and also you've got a major ambery touch, and this fragrance actually sprays very sticky, and it's long lasting, big long lasting fragrance. Great projection and sillage on this one as well. It's overall very good performing, and you only need a few sprays, as I said. It goes a long way. So if you want a long-lasting tobacco-ish fragrance, Red Tobacco is definitely one to try. We can't leave this one off because this is pretty much the only designer on here, except for the next one that's coming up as well. This is the Dior Homme Parfum, this one right here. It's the best, the designer, hands down for me. And it's also very sexy, and it performs great. It's perfume concentration, so the most concentrated perfume oils in a fragrance. And you rarely see a pure perfume version of a fragrance for men ever. In this collection, the Dior Homme collection, you have the Dior Homme Cologne, which is EDC, Eau de Cologne concentration. You have the Dior Homme, which is Eau de Toilette, and then you have Dior Homme Intense, which is Eau de Parfum. Then they came out with a pure perfume version. Long lasting, big projection, major sillage, awesome, amazing fragrance. Do check it out. I highly recommend this one. Last but not least, I'm going with the fragrance Tobacco Vanille. Very long lasting for me. I think a lot of people complain that it doesn't last long, but for me, it's really long lasting. And the projection and the sillage are out of this world. And personally, I think this is probably one of the best releases from the Private Blend collection, and it deserves the hailing. I mean, it's just an awesome fragrance all around. But you gotta love tobacco, you gotta love vanilla, gotta love some dried fruit notes, and then of course some resinous touches as well. Not big on the resinous touches, just a little light on the touches. But man, the tobacco and the vanilla are out of this world in this fragrance. And I highly recommend this one because it's just a great performing fragrance. So if you don't know Tobacco Vanille, you don't know the fragrance community, I guess, because this one is a very praised fragrance in this fragrance community, and I absolutely love it. So Tobacco Vanille is another very long-lasting beast mode longevity fragrance. So there you have it. That's my list for you guys. I know I went over 20, but I tried to make it as short as possible. So guys, let me know what your favorite fragrances are that have beast mode longevity, and then also let me know if you have fragrances that have beast mode longevity, but they have moderate or very minor projection and sillage. And then if you have some that have all three covered, do let me know as well, because I'd love to find out. If I don't know them, I'd like to check them out for future videos perhaps. Other than that, guys, if you have any questions or comments, please put some comments down. And then also, please like this video, please share it. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.